Have you ever done a podcast in an open house?
Never. I've been doing this for almost 40 years. This is my first one.
Well, this is Boyd the Broker. You know, I suffered a major stroke in 2021, but now I've become an example of what can be accomplished with dedication, family, and above all, hope. I'm willing to discuss anything so that others will find inspiration to recover as well as I have. Boyd the Broker podcast on iHeartRadio, real estate, wealth, and wellness. And I just met Doshi, but God, it seems like we're buds already. Like we could have some similarities. Already, I love your shirt. So there's the first similarity. You don't have hair. That's the thing that maybe is a little difference. You got to admit, my hair, it's pretty decent.
It's Pierce Brosnan level.
Ooh, I like that. You know, yeah, I'm tired of this Gavin Newsom crap. Everybody keeps saying I look like Gavin Newsom. But remember Pat Riley? Maybe that too.
Hey, that's a good one.
Because you know what? So I was telling you about how I went through a major hemorrhagic stroke. And it's funny because, you know, I'm dressed all like this and everything. And when I tell people that I had a stroke, they're like, oh, you had a Tylenol and you're fine. And then when they actually look me up and they hear the story and they're like, oh, geez, wow, okay, that's a big deal. But the surgeons that basically saved my life, they've come on the podcast, and Doshi, it's funny. I give them shit because, what? Am I allowed to swear on iHeartRadio?
Yeah, you're good.
Whoa, where did that happen? X-nay on the in-nay. Adam is going, oh my gosh, you're definitely not Matt Leinart. You're a rookie swearing like that. But anyway, so I gave the guys trouble because they butcher my, you know, they put a shunt in my head, yeah. And they need to go to barber school because they leave you all messed up with like cutting half my hair, and I make fun of them. This guy, he's an Indian guy, Dr. Siva Kamoor. He's like the rock star, so I call him the rock star.
Indians do make good doctors.
He is the man, right? And he comes on here, and he was not prepared for this, Doshi. So I come up and I'm just like, what the hell did you put in my head? Because the irony of this is that this guy literally was in my head. Like this guy was one of he's one of the top neurologists in all of Western U.S. anyway. And I'm like, what did you do in here? Why do I have all this energy? What's going on here? And I just rocked him. It was pretty funny. But tell me more about you. It's enough about me, my story.
Well, I did mention about Indian doctors. I'm Indian origin, born and raised in the United States.
Okay.
Love this country. My parents are from Mumbai. We're looking at a view here that's called the Queen's Necklace. It is one of the most glorious views in LA. 24 hours ago, I had never stepped foot on this peninsula. And I spent the entire day on this peninsula. Yeah. I got to tell you, I'm a little reluctant to say this, but this is probably the best kept secret in all of LA. Like it feels a little, I used to live in Hawaii. It feels a little bit like a mix of SoCal and Hawaii.
I lived in Maui. Where'd you live?
Oh, both Maui and Oahu.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I lived there for 7 years. But I retired young, and then I just crushed it in real estate. I retired, and then I took 7 years off, and then what happened is that with this personality, I wasn't this much personality, but I had some personality. I did the surfing thing. I put on contests. I had all the guys. I did CBS Sports. I sold a surf show to them, and I did all that stuff. But then I came back to Southern California, got back into this, and now now I figured out something else with this podcast. I've turned it into something just awesome. It's just I'm just so happy every day.
This is not typical of real estate folks in the industry, doing it. Right? Like that's what's really cool. What's amazing, I would have loved to have known you before the trauma that you went through. 37 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unreal. And your energy is so positive. I mean, you know, typically when you meet real estate agents, I'm not trying to badmouth the industry, but it's very transactionally oriented. Yeah. I don't, as you just said
about
before
the money,
we were
they're worried
talking,
about everything. I'm as greedy as the next guy,
no, I know you are. Yeah. But it comes to you because you just exude.
But it's from competition.
Energy.
See, this is why sellers get it. I represent buyer and seller in almost all my deals. So the other real estate people don't, and I think you have some real estate experience, so that should even freak you out. Most people don't do that because there could be a conflict of interest. But with my personality and how I do things, and people really recognize, oh, wow, this guy really isn't doing it for the wrong reasons. It's not like, I need to be paid for my time because I am good, or maybe I am better than other people, but I take a responsibility for it. And I ask people to hold me accountable. So in real estate, that is like I can tell by the way you're looking at me. Just a real estate guy saying, hold me accountable, that it doesn't happen.
Well, and a lot of people shy away from, just representing both sides, but I think it's the perfect opportunity. If you take a win-win approach, principle-centered negotiations, and look and say, look, I'm trying to bring these two people together and make them both happy. I mean, you
realize what both people are. I always put myself, I'm in an airplane looking down and I know exactly what, I'll never comment on the numbers. The numbers are, the seller's not going to sell it for less than what they want. The buyer's not going to pay more they want. After the negotiation, there's really no conflict of interest. It's all about me I want a referral from the buyer. I want a referral from the seller. Well, how do I do that? I got to make everybody happy. I got to make myself available. I got to make the transaction go smoothly. And there's going to be bumps in the road. I never promise anything. And I think that's what people enjoy about it. So I've turned this into, and then you add the podcast. And so now it's just turning into like a whole next level thing. And I'm glad you're in PV because, so I live in Manhattan Beach, which is fun. Look at somebody watching us. They're like, what the heck? What are they doing here? I have radio. Look at this podcast. But my wife and I have always wanted to live in PV Estates, but we live in Manhattan Beach.
Sure.
And we like it, and everybody likes Manhattan Beach, and it's fun and everything. But I tell you, when I first came and came inside this house, I thought, oh my gosh, I think we might be moving.
I think we might be competing against each other.
I was like, you know what?
That might be a conflict.
Why would I not want to look at that view? I was telling somebody else, I'm like, either this place motivates you so much if you're on a bit of a fixed income or whatever, so that you want to work your butt off so that you can continue to enjoy this house. Or you've got enough money and you're at a level or you're at a certain thing in life where you just come here and you just wake up and you get out of that bed with the fireplace and look at that view and go, I ain't doing nothing today.
Listen, the good news about this place is that garage is separate. Even if you get into a big fight with your wife, I'd be like, look, I'll just stay in the garage because the view from the garage is incredible.
That's so funny. I'm going to do a filming thing in there, and the floor plan of this house is fun. So we're at 773 Via Samonte. I just put it on the market late last night. So today's the first day anybody even gets to see it. Oh. And then we're doing this podcast. People are showing up going, what the heck's going on? Boyd the broker. What are you, Bob the builder? No. Everybody remembers it though, right? So that's exactly the cool thing. So this is fun and everybody's getting to see it. And it is Valentine's Day. It is iHeartRadio, and who wouldn't want to be impressed to your Valentine by looking at that view and just be like, hey, honey, you want to look at this? Oh my God! And wait till you see this. So we'll give you an edited video of this. Adam will do it. Wait till you see. So one of these three cameras, the two of us together. That's why normally I have a studio where there's like three different walls, and we have the iHeartRadio.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, I'm not competing with that view.
Yeah, no.
Doshi and I right now have that in our background. We just look like kings.
No, this is an absolutely stellar place. It reminds me actually of Italy, like the way you come up on the hill and capture, like you feel that the city is inside of your soul here, but you're away from some of the elements that are down there. The irony is, I currently have a business. We're in London. And I'm looking for a place down here in Southern California.
Wow.
I used to live down in Newport Beach. I loved the area, don't get me wrong. But I wanted to be close to LAX. And I started to be very, transparent in Santa Monica, city close to LAX, a lot of amenities. And I got to tell you, the situation with the aggressiveness of the homelessness is a real problem.
Yeah.
That city, I used to work for 2 mayors in New York City in an earlier life. And allowing chronic homelessness, people who've been on the streets for 10 years, they all have issues with substance abuse or mental health. It's not an act of compassion to let someone do that to themselves.
Wow.
So I understand this is a pretty liberal coast. I'm independent. I can see both sides of the aisle, but it's not an act of compassion. You got to get out there and clean that up. You can't let people destroy themselves. And that's what's happening. It breaks my heart to see that because it's probably it's one of the best.
I can hear it in your voice.
Of real estate. So that's why my wife, who's back in the UK, said, listen, go check out PV, the hiking trails. She's a marathon runner and runs trails. She's like, you got to go check it out. I spent 8 hours here yesterday combing the entire peninsula. And I know that this side of the peninsula, exactly where we're located, is phenomenal. because you don't have to
Well,
deal
you
with
can
some
get
of the
in and
traffic.
out. Yep.
You drop down into Riviera Village. You're in Redondo, Hermosa,
There it
Manhattan.
is.
Go have dinner, whatever you want.
There it is.
It's amazing.
And in real estate, I mean, you want the certain land. There's a house across the street that's at another price point level. I mean, if you can afford both, that's great. But a lot of people look at price, and in real estate, it doesn't matter how many properties you have. You need to be aware of the value and how it goes up. But you always know this. This is real estate 101, is you want land. And the thing about
look
this
at the
property,
size of this lot.
there's 4 of these. There's only 4 right here that go street to street. And for those of you who can't see this, we got all this drone footage. We're doing some crazy footage, and maybe they're going to edit something in here.
You put a labyrinth down there.
Yeah, it is Via Samonte on the bottom, and it's Via Samonte on the top. and that is just, that's unheard of. Yeah. There's 4 of these, and this is one of 4. Well, man, and look at, boy, that's a beautiful shirt. I told you I was going to talk about that. And your sunglasses. Holy man. I think I'm fashionable, right?
You are.
I'm pretty
You're in
happening.
style. You're in style. I don't got the hair, but, the shirt makes up for it.
Wait till you touch this thing in my head. Because that's the thing. I told Dr. Siva Kimura, he might be here today, and I really did give him crap because obviously they're trying to save my life. They just come out with the clippers and they just. So when I came back to life and I looked in the mirror, maybe 12 to 14 days after my second surgery of putting this thing in my head, and I see half my head shaved, I'm just like, dude. Come on, man. What's going on?
Well, listen, I mean, no one would possibly even know you had been through what you've been
through. That's the thing, yeah.
And that you're running this podcast, and you have more energy than most 25-year-olds that I know. All right?
But the world needs these sort of things because I have the competitiveness, so I do want to win. But at the same time, I recognize, we all grew up saying, "Oh, there's no guarantee of tomorrow."
Look,
and
can I tell you what you have?
Real.
If no one has told you this, you have an air of gratitude that exudes from you.
Wow.
You're just grateful to be alive.
That means something, yeah.
And whether
I want to win.
But you're gonna win.
Put those two
you can't
together.
be in real estate and not want to win.
Yeah.
If you don't want to win, you're not going to do well in real estate.
See, but I have more. I retired because I kicked butt.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna be 4 times as big as I was back in the day because here's the thing, Doshi, is that I'm not afraid to lose.
That's exactly right.
And this is what I teach
because
my
you
son.
know you
have to swing.
That's right.
There's that old saying: you hit 3 out of 10,
that's right.
You're in the Hall of Fame. Nobody
exactly
saw you strike out 7 times, but you have to strike out every day. When I got all these fancy houses that I'm selling and I'm doing all this stuff, but people
can I be really honest?
Call, I do all the stuff.
Part of the reason, this was on a short list of places I wanted to see, but I saw that you're doing a podcast, and I was like, this guy is different, right?
Wow.
And you come from an industry, look, everyone, this is not one of the most innovative industries in the world, right? It's very conformist. People kind of just follow whatever formula with a big brokerage name. You have stepped out of that box. And I'm sure there are people who possibly ridicule and say, well, what's the use of that? Is that going to sell that house? You're selling the area. You're connecting with people. I got to tell you, the first person I'm going to call if I don't buy this place and need other friends that need some help, I'm calling Boyd the broker.
There we go. Look at that. Well, the thing about it, you're right. It's kind of like my podcast, Real Estate Wealth and Wellness. Well, that covers everything. I don't need to sell a house to somebody, or the podcast doesn't need to have somebody come in and write an offer, because you're going to go home or somebody's going to go home. They're going to talk about it. Welcome to the world of just association. It's called compounding.
People don't realize how important real estate really is. It's well beyond the house. It's a part of your identity. There are only 2 things on this planet that are actually unique. Each of us, we're a unique signature of whatever you want to believe, the divine, the frequency, whatever your belief is, you are unique. And the other thing that's unique is any piece of earth, any piece of dirt on this earth. So matching the 2 is actually an incredibly important responsibility.
Wow.
You want to feel at place with where you are, at one with the surroundings. It either helps you out or brings you down.
I think Doshi just bought a house. Look at that. He might have some competition here of people coming in, but I think we just bought a house. Wow.
It's a beautiful place.
Awesome.
It really
pleasure to meet you, honestly.
It's my honor.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks
you
for being on Boyd the Broker. Hi, iHeartRadio. And what a day. What a day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.